Namaste, angels. For those of you who haven't seen one yet, I'm doing these astrological readings. This is my first reading for the sign of Libra in quite some time, but I'm back, for all signs to do them after recently, getting freed up somewhat. I knew as soon as I announced that I had completed my client readings that I would get some more to do, and that's fine. I was never complaining. Being busy is a good thing, and having work to do is a good thing. I'm thankful, but I had gotten sort of like under the gun back in June when it was just like back to back to back between having to go to the hospital, like ending up in the hospital and Mercury retrograde and my stuff not working and I had to send my computer in. It was just a mess. And it went on for days and days and days, and I just never could get back like ahead of things how I had been. So as soon as I got freed up, I decided I was going to do a lot of the videos that you've been asking me for and that I've been wanting to do for some time. And this was one of them, the astrological readings, albeit not the top of the list, honestly, until a couple of days ago, the first day for which I did this. I think it was the 24th. Somebody commented on the general reading that they hadn't been to my channel in a year because they thought it was specifically a twin flame channel, and they had like separated from the person who at the time when they were watching my channel consistently believed was their twin flame. And so they figured that, they said it as nicely as they could, and they weren't trying to hurt my feelings, and it wasn't malicious, and I didn't take it that way. But basically they felt unwelcome, is what I got, like I don't belong on that channel if I'm not a twin flame. And that is not the case at all. Certainly not for these readings. These are for any and everybody, have nothing to do with divine beings, divine unions, twin flames, none of it. But my readings that are meant for divine beings, it's for the individual, right? I try to help people to get to learn themselves and to understand themselves and why they were, awakened and put on this particular spiritual path, why they've met someone or feel that they are destined to meet someone who is like a part of them, that they can feel in their very soul, like, and all of a sudden, having never felt this before, from where did that come? That's what I'm here to help people with, and so that's what I do. But for me, it's about the individual, whether partnered or not partnered. I want to tell you the history. I want to tell you the future because I know a lot of the prophecies and stuff too, and so that's the purpose of my channel. But again, today this is a zodiacal reading, and I will, I'm trying to commit to doing them bi-weekly from here on out, with this being the first and last time that I'm going to do any of this, introduction and speaking about it. So that said, let's get kind of into it. I'll still explain a little bit. I got oracle cards here. We'll be using, we'll be switching it up in the future. I got tons of cards, some of which I never even used before, like a drawer full of them. So we'll be using, but today I've got my angel therapy cards, hashtag creepy deck, angels of abundance, and romance angel oracle cards. Your angel therapy card is cancel, clear, delete, and it's a very air sign kind of card because it's about the words and thoughts that we have over our lives. What words are you speaking over yourself? What are your thoughts? Especially when you see these numbers like 1111, that has nothing to do with oh, I'm a twin flame, or contrary to some common belief. What ones are about, it's an alert from the universe telling you, like reminding you to watch your thoughts and the words you're speaking over yourself, because your thoughts and what you in your speech becomes your reality. I've been saying this the whole time I've been on. So for 3 years, I read an article today, though, not the whole thing, but just briefly, by Sierra, talking about if you want something, you have to speak it. You have to see it, like you visualize yourself having it, and you have to write it down. And I couldn't agree with her more. That's what Cancel, Clear, Delete is about. Use only positive words and thoughts as they're rapidly manifesting into form. Ask the angels to cancel the effects of the past negative thinking that you had. So in the past where you did think and speak negativity of yourself, you want the angels to help you to, or your ancestors, your higher self, whatever you can get to help you. You want it to clear. Right? You want that karmic debt cleared out. Because you speak that kind of stuff over your future generations too, when we do these things. Like there's prayers working on you and intentions working on you that, your grandmother probably said. Please take care of my grandchild in the future, even when I'm long gone. And that's still protecting you. There's an orb. And maybe it's somebody's grandmother. Wasn't that funny how it popped up right then? Anyway, hashtag creepy deck. Soulmate. And you guys are the first to get this card. So that's pretty cool. You're the first to get a couple of these cards that are here. Underneath it is dating, which is a very Two of Cups kind of card. So somebody may have some love stuff going on or partnership stuff. Maybe you got to make up with a friend or something. And something may be amiss in the meantime because right behind it is brunette female. Ugh. This represents a karmic feminine energy for me. It doesn't have to be an actual person, but it often is. And then more specific to that actual person is often a female with, darker hair, maybe even dark eyes. This one has green eyes, but maybe even dark eyes. And often a Cancer or a Leo, or a Leo Cancer or a Cancer Leo Cuspian. What's really funny, not ha-ha, but funny, is that right behind her is Fair Male, the card that represents the masculine karmic energy for me in this deck. So for the masculine, for the feminine, men, women alike watching this reading, you may have some sort of karmic situation, if not an actual person, to deal with over this next 2 weeks, and perhaps connected to a soulmate, or it could be a karmic soulmate that you're having to clear up some, I'd say, past issue, especially with it sitting here next to cancel, clear, delete. I think it's cancel, clear, delete that. Abundance, angels, do the work. I honestly, I feel that this is connected to inner work, like spiritual inner work. If you're not familiar with what that is, it's kind of like going hermit mode, doing some major introspection, like to the third power, and basically just veils and things that you didn't know existed around you being ripped off, and essentially having to lose your whole self in order to find your whole true self. Like that was a falsehood, who you thought you were before, the inner work, and then it becomes this, like the T.I. song, the old me is dead and gone. Yeah, that's what happens after inner work. And I think that that's what this card is talking about. Those of us who are willing to do the work will be who, gets to actually experience the evolution. Also, I just heard also, and speaking of prayers by your grandmother, prayers without works are dead. That's what the scriptures say. So you even when people that pray, right, people that believe in prayer as opposed to calling it intention or manifestation or the working within the law of attraction, have to also put some action behind it. Right? You can't just, the Bible itself tells you not to just sit somewhere and pray, that you have to actually get up and do something about it too. Lastly, for your oracle cards, the overall energy, reconciliation. You guys are the first one to get this one too. Someone from your past is returning to your life. And that's from the romance angel. So it's likely somebody from your romantic life that is returning, not just, any old person. For your spread, I'm going to be every 2 weeks laying these 4 cards in a square, so to speak. This one represents you and, like energy directly impacting you. This one is surrounding you, so it'll be like your friends, your family. This one is your work and finance, and this one is your love and romance. And yours is totally your or our element. I'm an air sign too. The Queen of Swords in reverse. Queen of Swords in reverse is all about obstacles. right, that are being put in front of you. If she's an actual person, she may not be so nice. At least in this moment, this 2 weeks, she may not be so nice. Even if she's you, because it's possible that she's you, you may not be so nice. That kind of like nice, nasty that air signs are particularly good at, actually, that shade, no shade. And you're going to want to cut that out. And it might require some of this inner work first. But you're going to want to cut that out and like say what you mean and mean what you say, rather than, just being slick at the mouth. If this is not you, and again, it's somebody else, it could be somebody who is even inadvertently putting up obstacles in front of you. It might not be malicious, it might not be on purpose, but she does represent obstacles, the Queen of Swords in reverse. She can be about miscommunications too, and like, for example, in connection to the work, right? The Queen of Wands here in reverse, she represents your work and finance. And Queen of Wands in reverse is also about blocks and obstacles that are being put in front of you. So these two cards go very well. Queen of Wands, of course, a Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. And boom, your overall energy is Major Arcana card Strength, which does represent the sign of Leo. So this Queen of Wands may very well be a Leo, and she may very well be this karmic feminine energy here, who I said is often a Cancer or a Leo Cancer. Could be somebody at your job that's, she might be malicious. She doesn't have to be, but she gets in your way, or she causes you problems. She could be your boss. She could be like the HR person or the payroll person, because what I was going to try to get to was that with the Queen of Swords in reverse also, there could be communications like, or miscommunications like, like a mistake in your bank statement or on your paycheck or on some kind of, something that's going to impact you. Some sort of information that's like misprinted. That speaking about Mercury retrograde, the kind of thing that tends to happen in Mercury retrograde, you got overcharged for something, your receipt is wrong. You guys know the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And so where that is happening at work, it may be this Queen of Wands person. If it's an actual person, as opposed to just an energy, a feminine energy, still represented by that feminine, that karmic feminine card for me, then she may be, middle-aged, light-haired. And again, she may be a direct fire sign, particularly a Leo. And I would say, Sagittarius or Aries second to Leo, it's a problem. It's not an irreparable problem, but it's a problem. It's an annoyance. It's an obstacle. It's something that gets in your way. Especially if your check is wrong and you go home on the weekend, you get paid on Friday, for example, you go home on the weekend, this lady, you can't reach her. And it's like, I had stuff to do this weekend. Who gave you the right to determine that I don't need my whole check? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Whether you do or don't, it's your business. You want your whole check. You earned your whole check. You worked all week. It's that kind of thing that these two together especially can do, because the Queen of Swords on her own can, again, be about these mistakes and stuff. And speaking of mistakes in communication or miscommunication, it can also be about you having like a different memory from what actually happened with regard to like a relationship or a love situation. And so maybe that's why the High Priestess is sitting here. Not necessarily about your love and your relationships, but possible, because again, this is the friends, this is the people, that surround you, your family members and stuff. And this High Priestess is being sort of mysterious, right? Well, that's her style. She's sort of mysterious, but she is Major Arcana card 2. Twos, of course, represent partnership. So relationships. They're also about faith. And she's a very spiritual person. She's a very intuitive person. High Priestess shows up. It does guide us to use our intuition as to what should our next step be. So maybe if something does happen to you in one of these areas and you're trying to figure out, okay, like, well, what do I do? How do I go about fixing this? You don't want to just jump out there like an air sign might otherwise do, a Libra might otherwise do. You don't want to just jump out there quickly, haphazardly, without stopping to think about it first, and using your intuition, using also your intellect, your common sense, your gut feelings. That's what the high priestess does. And then she, takes action if she decides to take action. And she may or may not share the fact that she's taking action with you. She can be very secretive, very mysterious, very quiet, super sexy. And maybe that's part of the sex appeal. The fact that she's so like dark and mysterious, This is Isis, by the way, sitting in between the two columns at King Solomon's house. Yeah, but talking about dark and mysterious, because sometimes they call her the Dark Queen. Yeah, so you're not going to just take action just jumping out crazy, especially, I would suppose, if it has to do with your job and you want to keep it. And if this is your boss or the HR person, you can express your concern, you can express a need to fix it. You can even defend yourself if it's something having to do with, a need to defend yourself. But again, there's going to be a way you want to go about it. So that could be where the high priestess is coming in. A way you want to go about it rather than being, a bitch, which again, the Queen of Swords in reverse can absolutely be. And because you do have, okay, I just saw something else. Because you do have Major Arcana card 8, Strength, which represents the sign of Leo as your overall energy. This is the strength that you have, with which to work. This means you have the wherewithal, the ability, the bravery, the courage to handle and withstand anything that comes your way this week. So any kind of foolishness or whatever, you got it. You can handle it. Also, when strength shows up, it's very good in terms of money. It's very good in terms of love. It's a good omen in both of those areas. In healing relationships, it's positive, right? Because they say true strength comes from the ability to express yourself, apologize, forgive. So you can even do those sort of things and make up with somebody if there's necessary. And the thing that I said, oh, that's interesting, I just saw something else. So something else was the King of Swords. He's super diplomatic. And again, like I was saying, what we need the Queen of Swords to do here, the King of Swords definitely does. He says what he means, and he means what he says. He's also often like a judge or a lawyer. So somebody may have some sort of situation going on. It is a Libra. In the tarot, Libra is represented by Major Arcana card Justice. So there could be some sort of, either if it's not a legal situation, a serious situation, requiring the involvement of some sort of professional. And that may be who the King of Swords represents. But even if he's just your friend, right? He's just your buddy from next door or whatever. He is somebody who can look at a situation and view it in a fair way and be diplomatic about it. And again, he expresses himself and, he says what he means and he means what he says. He's not going to, mince words and stuff. And so he can be somebody who helps you to rectify a situation, especially if he's you, right? If this is the energy that you're working with, awesome. Also, when you see both the king and the queen of a given suit, in the same spread at the same time, it tends to mean that there's something going on with a couple or partnership. So for a lot of us, this is going to be not us. I'm not a Libra at all. But for a lot of you, this is going to be about relationships, this reading. And behind it is the 10 of Cups. So it could be something that affects maybe your whole family. Sometimes the 10 of Cups can be about family. And, it's about us being emotionally fulfilled and happy. So even if it's not family, it could be just because, again, the King of Swords rectified something, perhaps. Maybe he got everybody to kiss and make up. He said, okay, I hear your side. I hear your side. Now let's fix this. Let's go half. Let's go 50-50. Let's be balanced. Let's be generous with each other. Let's be fair with each other. And that's where your love card comes in. It's the Six of Pentacles. And it's about all of those things. Being fair, being generous, being kind, meeting each other halfway, going 50-50, or 100-100. Some people believe in that, And it's about the ability to both give and receive. And here's your scales of balance right here, Libra. It is about balance, very much so. So if you were partnered, even if you were in separation, again, it looks like somebody is coming back or you're going back, right? You could be the one that's going back to somebody. Someone from your past is returning to your life. Although with all these queens here, and with the karmic feminine sitting atop the karmic masculine, I think it's more so about the masculine who might have something to fix. And that's why all these feminine, all these women here are like upset, or their lives are turned upside down because something didn't go right. And so I think that would mean maybe the masculine is going to be going to them. But it could be either way, feminine, masculine, or you could meet each other halfway. Again, meet each other halfway. You both, take a step forward. So for those who are partnered, again, the Six of Pentacles is about the ability to both give and receive. Love has to be able to pass both ways. Right? We got to be fair and equitable with each other. You got to be fair and equitable with each other. If you are single and amenable to love, a new relationship, open to it, maybe after some inner work. Okay, I worked on me. I'm ready to introduce somebody else into this situation now. Right? I've done a lot of healing. So you're opening up. You're going to get somebody that matches that energy. You're going to get somebody that's also spiritual, also fair, also wants to go 50-50, wants love to be able to pass both ways, wants, to give to you, but also wants to receive from you, and is capable of both in a healthy and harmonious way. That is what is coming to you. Whether you're, again, single or partnered. And if you're partnered and you're getting all that, it's also going to lead to a deepening of the relationship and or commitment. But again, memories of the past, I keep seeing, it just reminded me with this Queen of Swords, something from the past. Feminine, although this represents both masculine and feminine, but I think it's telling me to talk specifically to some female Libras right now, or feminine archetype at least. So if they are males, but of the feminine persuasion, I think it's telling me to talk to you right now. That, how we could hold on to energy, resentment, regret, guilt, the inability to forgive, these negative emotions and stuff. But sometimes it's unnecessary. It's just because we remember a situation one way, and it's like, wait a minute, that's not what happened. Like, what are you talking about? And if you really knew what happened, if you really were more informed instead of like in the dark, then you wouldn't feel the way you do. So I think there's a situation like that going on too, that it's a miscommunication. Something needs to be cleared up. So when we cut the cords to these old energies and stuff, on both ends, something from the past that's holding us back, we'll be able to move forward. Maybe together. Yeah, definitely maybe a Leo involved. Speaking of expressing your love and the King of Swords and saying what you mean and meaning what you say, the romance angels suggest to the masculine archetype, express your love. Go ahead and make the romantic gesture. So again, you are, just as I felt, you are who is being guided to take a step forward. And maybe that's because, again, the feminine doesn't remember everything properly. And because she's holding on to those old fears and negative emotions, codependency shows up for her. Addictions are affecting your romantic life. From the Abundance Oracle, successful funding. Your idea is divinely guided and supported by the same infinite wisdom of God that gave you the idea in the first place. Don't allow money concerns, like maybe your check being wrong or the check being wrong. If it's a loan, it's a whatever, or it's late, it's delayed, somebody messed it up, they're an obstacle. Don't let that get you down, basically. Don't allow money concerns to prevent you from turning it into a reality, right? This dream of yours. Crowdfunding, partnerships, and other investments are available to help you. That could be another reason why the King of Swords shows up. Again, he's a professional. So you have the strength to deal with this, again, perhaps Leo, or this fire energy that's showing up to get in your way. And you're just going to cut right through it. And everything's going to work out. Okay? Abundance oracle to the feminine, gratitude list. Counting your blessings and feeling gratitude for what you already have helps you to be centered in your heart instead of fixated on worries in your mind, like that are causing you to remember something the wrong way. What and who are you grateful for right now? Yeah, let's switch it around. Let's look at the positive instead. Keep focusing upon gratitude and you'll discover the amazing generosity of this universe. Hashtag creepy deck, masculine. Boom. Past love. Told you something from the past has to be dealt with. And it's coming up. Also, this, I think it has dual meaning, right? More too. The other meaning is you're reconciling with, again, some sort of past love. Maybe even a soulmate. Remember, soulmate was here before. I don't know what I did with it, but it was here. Oh, there it is. I put them out of order. Yeah, so some sort of soulmate. Could be who is returning. Hashtag creepy deck to the feminine. It is young female. Can be about an actual young female. Maybe you're older masculine, for example, and there's a young female that's involved with you. But in a more general sense, when I do these readings, this card for me tends to represent the planet Jupiter, ruler of the sign of Sagittarius. So it's also more feminine fire, right? The Queen of Wands, Sagittarius, Leo, Aries. But Jupiter is about growth, expansion, luck, karma, opportunities coming your way. That's very Sagittarius. So I think that's what's happening for the feminine here. Opportunity to right or wrong, to turn something around, to try again, to start anew, like, to get it right this time. And, masculine for you, just as I said, cut your cords. Ask Archangel Michael to clear any old attachments to fear that stem from past relationships, freeing you from destructive patterns. So maybe that karmic masculine or feminine energy that's here is, to what or from what you have to cut yourself. And lastly, feminine, High Priestess style. Listen to your intuitive feelings. Your body is receiving accurate messages from the divine. I hope that you Libras have enjoyed your bi-weekly reading. I will be back in 2 weeks to do another one. I'm, committed to getting that in. Thank you again for joining, for liking, and for subscribing to my channel. I do appreciate it. There's all kinds of information in the description box about me if you want to get a client reading from me or energy healing, or we got merchandise, or you just want to chat. I like to talk to people too, and I don't mind them, reaching out to talk to me. All right, guys, I'll be back in 2 weeks. Namaste.